Hi everyone, and welcome to our next episode of our Brown Bag Sessions. And I'm your host Alec. And if you are new here, this event is hosted by the blockchain professionals community, and we are kind of a think space of blockchain professionals, of blockchain engineers who are interested in the concept of blockchain, or who are also interested in blockchain as a technology, and who aim to accelerate its early adoption. And we host such brown bag sessions twice a month at least. And please subscribe to our social media channels to get all the invitations and to find the recordings of our previous sessions. And we also have many other activities like articles, conferences, podcasts, hackathons, and many other interesting things. And our next big event is the Blockchain Community Day, which will happen on the 6th of June this year. And please check out our social media pages once again, and you will find all the information. And before we start, I'm going to invite my colleagues and introduce our today's guests. So please meet Alexander and Daniel. Daniel is my colleague at EPAM, who is our business analyst in London's office of EPAM, and our today's speaker, Alexander Grover, who used to be our colleague at EPAM, but now a managing partner at Restack.AI. And we will be talking about energizing NFT, energizing retail loyalty using NFTs. I think that's a very interesting topic, and the examples which will be given by Alexander are also very interesting. And so I'm not going to take much time. Give me just a second. Hi, Alex. Hi, Dan. Let
Hello, how
me
are you?
good. Let me bring the presentation, and we can start. So I hope everyone can see. Yes, during the presentation, please leave your questions in the live chat on YouTube. And at the end, we will be going through all the questions together with Daniel and Alex. So good luck, Alexander. The stage is
O-
yours.
Okay, hello, my name is Alexander Grover, and today I'll talk about energizing loyalty programs with NFTs. And as Alex said, let's keep all the questions to the end, but note the slide numbers so we can refer to them afterwards. Then I'll answer everything at the end. Okay, I started Restack AI with my friend Steve after noticing that many NFT projects were slow to deliver on their roadmaps. We observed the main reason was not something nefarious, but rather that they lacked both deep technical expertise and project management experience. So we started approaching them on Discord, offering our services as highly experienced software professionals. Later, we started to pick up more established projects. My partner and I have 50 plus years of combined experience in the software industry. My role is primarily sales and management. Steve leads on the technical side with architecture and development. We both work together on strategy related to NFT gaming concepts. We are technology agnostic and work with a variety of blockchains, including those on the right. This is an overview of what we'll discuss today. What problem are we trying to solve? First, I'll build a foundation by giving you an overview of loyalty programs. Then I'll go in depth on Web3 gaming, and then we'll discuss current challenges. Then we'll move on to Web3 games and Web3 loyalty program architecture. Afterwards, we'll move on to the fun stuff with case studies on Reddit and Starbucks. And finally, we'll round out the presentation with Q&A where I'll answer questions and discuss ideas. The main problem with discounting or advertising campaigns to attract new customers is that as soon as it's over, the sales drop off right away. So, how do you retain the customer loyalty without compromising margins? In other words, how do you make marketing stick? Now, I'll give you an overview of loyalty programs. All loyalty programs are built on the premise that it costs 5 times as much to get a new customer than to retain an existing one. Loyalty programs have been around for well over 200 years. They evolved from copper tokens given out after each purchase. Those tokens could be exchanged for selected items in a store. Eventually, the coins gave way to stamps that could be redeemed for products in a catalog. When I was growing up, my parents used to save the Betty Crocker box tops from cake mixes and breakfast cereals. Then at the end of the year, they would order cookware from the Betty Crocker catalog. I remember them having to send in all the box tops by regular mail. Although the process was cumbersome, the loyalty program motivated them to stick with Betty Crocker. The box tops became an iconic part of American culture from 1931 to 2006. Imagine now taking that concept to the digital age. Loyalty models evolved to collect data that could be used to better understand consumer behavior. In 1981, American Airlines introduced the concept of offering perks and discounts in exchange for customer data. That helped them better understand their customers, allowing them to do more effective marketing. They could custom tailor offers to specific customer segments instead of shotgunning promotions. That in turn led to more effective spending of advertising dollars. There are four basic types of loyalty programs. The first one is the points based loyalty program, which is the most popular and perhaps the easiest to implement. Domino's is my favorite example. You get 10% of your purchase back as points. You can use these points towards a discount or to buy a pizza outright if you've been saving them up. The second one is the tiered based loyalty program. My favorite example is Uber. Their loyalty program has four tiers, and you earn points based on the ride duration and the cost. The blue tier is the entry level one, and they simply offer discounts. The gold tier, which you get after 500 points, not only includes discounts, but you also get less waiting time on customer service calls. And then you also can have free cancellations within a specific time frame. And then you jump up to 2,500 points and you get to the platinum tier. And you get additional perks like being able to lock prices and more stable pricing during peak hours. And you can also avoid the massive fluctuations associated with airport pickups. And there's the very top tier is the diamond tier at 7,500 points. So you've got to be taking Uber like 3 times a day, I think, to get this one. But this one gives you dedicated phone support, and then you get occasional upgrades to Uber Black, and you can get free delivery on Uber Eats. You still got to pay for the food though. And then there's more stable pricing and better drivers. The third type of loyalty program is subscription based loyalty. And Amazon Prime is probably the best example of this. And you, for around $15 a month, you get discounts and perks like free streaming and priority shipping. There are many other benefits as well. And the final type of loyalty program is the value based one. And they appeal to the customer's altruistic side. Instead of giving perks, they donate a portion of each sale to charity. For example, the body shop donates to conservation movements. In summary, the overall benefit of a loyalty program is that it allows companies to build relationships with their existing customer base. The result is increased sales while maintaining margins. Furthermore, a well designed loyalty program will attract new customers as well. Now I'll discuss both Web3 and Web3 gaming concepts. Gaming is often the first introduction to a technology before it becomes mainstream. Web3 is a disruptive technology, no doubt about that. Decentralization will empower consumers and give them a greater voice in product development. Moreover, they can realize value for the time they spent with a specific company or brand. Therefore, we are entering a new era in marketing and customer relations. This is a brief overview of how the technology evolved. We went from just reading content on sites to interacting with it. Now we're getting to own it and monetize it, and pretty soon we'll have a voice in its composition. Now let's talk about what this means in terms of gaming and loyalty. Currently, Web3 games share one or more of the following concepts. The first primary component and draw to a Web3 game are the NFTs. They mark ownership and can be bought or sold or transferred. The second primary component is supporting cryptocurrency transactions. Players can earn it or use it to buy items in the game. Both the NFT and crypto components distinguish Web3 games from their Web2 counterparts. Currently, Most Web3 games reward users for winning, that's known as play to earn, and spending time on the game, which is play and earn. Many Web3 games have been criticized for being pay to win in nature, dominated by those willing to buy their way to the top and taking the entire prize pool. Play and earn, rewarding time spent, is meant to balance that dynamic. Players earn or purchase in game currencies with cryptocurrency, which they can use to buy virtual assets like cosmetic items or enhancements in an in game shop. Staking is a concept similar to term deposits at your bank. You lock up your NFTs for a certain period and earn tokens in return. The tokens can either be on or off chain. This takes the NFT out of the marketplace and tightens up the supply. The theory is that the fewer NFTs for sale, the higher the floor price for a given collection. Many Web3 games have a DAO component. The decentralized autonomous authority acts as a governing body for the game, interacting with the game developers. They will fund the development of new components or offer grants to those proposing good ideas. In general, there are two types of players: those who invest their time, starting from the bottom and grinding their way up, and those who invest their money, buying their way to the top. Therefore, many Web3 games have an off chain database that stores data to the NFT reference versus the user ID. So when the player puts that NFT on the market, the accumulated experience and enhancements travel with it. That mechanic allows users to realize the equity that they built up in a game over time. Now let's move on to some Web3 examples to illustrate these concepts. I'll show you two games I've played for some time. You'll notice that the gameplay is primitive, but that's because the game has to transact with the blockchain, which is inherently slow. Do you remember when CryptoKitties clogged the Ethereum network? Alien Worlds is the largest play to earn game in terms of total users. They have over 8 million lifetime players with over 100,000 unique logins every day. All Web3 games require you log into a crypto wallet, which stores the NFTs associated with the game. Alien World's primary gaming features require login from the Wax blockchain wallet. Then they have secondary features which require login from a Binance Smart Chain wallet. MetaMask is the most popular of these. Finally, they have a bridge where you can send assets back and forth between the Wax blockchain and the Ethereum blockchain, or the Wax blockchain and the Binance Smart Chain. The gameplay is simple at first glance. You click on that orange mine button at the top middle of the screen, earning a little trillium each time. TLM is the gaming token, which is a cryptocurrency living both on the Wax and Binance smart chains. However, it gets more interesting when you get into it. You build a set of 3 tools, each with 3 different properties. The first property is the ability to mine trillium. The second one is the ability to mine NFT points, which you use to buy NFTs. And the third one is a cooldown time, which is a timeout period before you can mine again. Either you mine often and get a little reward each time, or you can mine with more powerful tools, but less often since they require a longer cooldown time. You also need to decide if you're going for Trillium or NFT points. Alien Worlds gamified staking by calling it missions. You lock up a certain amount of cryptocurrency for a few weeks. In the game, you rent a spaceship for a mission that runs for about 2 to 8 weeks. The ship returns when the term expires. You get your crypto back plus some extra along with an NFT. In essence, it's an interest payment. Locking up the tokens reduces the available supply on the market, pushing up the price, and they're giving you incentive to do that. Alien Worlds has a DAO called the Syndicates. They elect leaders and have a budget held in Trillium. Each planet has its own cryptocurrency where one token equals one vote. They sponsor tournaments and offer grants. They support those who those who want to help develop the community by creating new uses for Trillium. Essentially, they reward those who can create demand for their native cryptocurrency. Players trade their NFTs on the Atomic Hub marketplace, which caters to the Wax blockchain projects. They have some interesting NFT collections on this market, including tokenized Muhammad Ali photos and top baseball cards. In the case of Alien Worlds, the NFTs do not store any accumulated information in the metadata or off chain, so the prices are based primarily on rarity. The Alien Worlds come in six types, ranging from abundant to mythical. Now I'll discuss the Infungibles. This is a fun player versus player game running on the Solana blockchain. Like Alien Worlds, the first step is to log in with one of the Solana wallets. Note that you have to sign the transaction, which means that you are verifying that you understand which site you are logging into. The risks associated with logging into the wrong site is that you may agree to let them take away all your NFTs and cryptocurrency. So it's important that you trust the site and really know what you're doing. The Infungibles gameplay is a bit more interesting. You get to battle other players. The game uses an auto battler where you set up your parameters for your NFTs in advance. Then the game runs a script and provides an outcome. Once the game starts, the players cannot change anything. While the script runs, the game offers animations showing each side's attack and defense maneuvers, whether casting lightning bolts or dodging a spear. They run a King of the Mountain tournament where top players win Solana or Morphons, the game's own cryptocurrency. There are also numerous tasks that you can do, keeping you engaged while your NFT recovers from the last battle. Like Alien Worlds, the Infungibles offers staking, allowing users to park their NFTs in exchange for an in-game currency, which they can exchange for the game's cryptocurrency. Both are called Morphons. The beta version is the in-game variant, and the alpha version is the on-chain variant. Once again, you must sign the request, allowing the blockchain transaction to take place, transferring crypto into your wallet. The staking keeps the Infungible mecha-themed NFTs off the market, creating scarcity, leading to a higher floor price. The in-game store allows you to spend your in-game currency, which you can earn through playing or buying with Solana. You can buy enhancements to make your NFTs more effective, climbing the ranks of a tournament and hopefully getting a return by winning some prizes, often paid in Solana. You can buy and sell Infungible NFTs on the Magic Eden marketplace, one of the most active and well-known marketplaces on the blockchain. They started with Solana, but now work with Polygon NFTs as well. What's interesting is that the NFT's metadata changes, recording the highest level achieved in the game. On the left, you can see the level attribute as one of the key search features. The NFTs with a higher level tend to sell for more since they are more likely to win prizes. Currently, there are some challenges with Web3. NFT is a bad word because of its association with high profile scam projects and bad actors in the space. One must also consider the rules of the governing jurisdiction with respect to wagering and lotteries. Not only that, but also taxation. Should marketplaces issue the US equivalent of a 1099 listing capital gains from flipping NFTs? The third challenge is that the average person still doesn't fully understand the technology. And it's very easy to make mistakes like sending your assets to the wrong wallet or even to the wrong blockchain. The transactions are irreversible, and there's no customer service number that you can call to fix the issue. The field is full of bots. This is the final challenge, trying to harvest every little bit of liquidity from the Web3 apps and games. The game designer should create incentive to invest in a single NFT versus playing many at once. Now I'll discuss the architecture for a Web3 loyalty app, building both on Web3 gaming and loyalty program concepts. There are four key considerations on which to build a loyalty app. The first one is the loyalty model. We need to clearly define the retention strategy. We offer discounts and perks, offer more services with each level. Perhaps we charge a fixed rate every month, which unlocks certain benefits. Are we appealing to the customer's altruistic values by donating to a relevant cause? The second one is the blockchain aspect. Where will the NFT fit into the strategy? Does it act as a transferable membership card, a collectible, or a game piece? The third aspect is gamification. How do we keep the customer engaged long after the campaign is over? We will discuss the different types of gamification strategies in the next coming slides. The final consideration is conversion. What value does the customer get from engaging with the program? Like what's in it for the customers? We really have to consider that one probably the most out of all of these. Games take different forms. Currently, Web3 games most commonly refer to racing or most commonly offer racing, single combat, team versus team, or battle royale. Strategy games like Alien Worlds, which we just went through, emphasize decision making instead of entertaining gameplay and graphics. Trivia is also a form of gamification. Users can be rewarded for learning about the brand. Tasks can be done to get points, like watering a virtual plant or doing a survey. They can either keep the customer on the app or be used to collect data or both. Puzzles are also considered a gaming concept. Customers may find it interesting to collect different items to complete an entire picture, which could be redeemed for a reward. A quest element may be added to any of the above, allowing players to achieve levels that unlock more benefits as they climb. These are just a few ways to engage your customers in a gamified loyalty program. Now I'll move on to a more technical discussion. First, I'll discuss the general architecture of a Web3 game. Note that this is a general high-level overview. Since the blockchain is inherently slow and has limited transaction speed, most Web3 games are hybrid Web2 and Web3 solutions. Primarily, the Web3 components validate the user credentials and assets against the blockchain and conduct cryptocurrency transactions in and out of the wallet. The NFT acts as an ID card. Once the user has logged in, the actual gameplay takes place off chain. Web3 games can also update the NFT metadata. The NFTs remain in the user's wallet. Its attributes, including the graphics, are replicated to a parallel off-chain database like PostgreSQL. The user climbs levels, earning special powers or privileges. That data is stored against the NFT ID instead of the user ID. The user can place his NFTs directly on a third-party marketplace like OpenSea or Magic Eden without going through the gaming app. That's how Web3 gives users ownership and complete control over their assets. So instead of buying a service like an online Web2 game, Web3 users buy virtual products that can be resold after modifying them. Web3 games require users to have moderate knowledge of blockchain tools like wallets and external marketplaces. Hence, there are some moving parts. Next, I'll discuss how loyalty apps simplify these interactions for the layperson. The loyalty app works most like a Web3 game. However, there are key differences. Notably, it aims to keep all the Web3 components inside the app, making the experience seamless for the end user. In fact, the end user doesn't need to know anything about the blockchain or NFTs. Loyalty customers can also log in via SSO, like Google Single Sign On, or with existing credentials. The wallet is built into the app. Some loyalty programs allow their users to transfer their NFTs to an external wallet and connect with a third party marketplace. That's done by making the private keys available to the user or allowing them to send their NFTs out from an external from the internal wallet. Conversely, users could buy assets on a third party marketplace and transfer them into the loyalty app. Also, Web3 loyalty apps often have a payment gateway, allowing them allowing for direct credit card purchases of both on-chain and off-chain virtual assets. Note that some Web3 games also allow users to purchase virtual items with a credit card. The Web3 loyalty app may have an NFT marketplace inside the app. That makes buying and selling NFTs easy versus sending them to an external wallet, logging on to OpenSea, and then listing them on the market. I think you get my point that it can be a bit complicated for a novice. The Web3 loyalty program aims to keep users on the branded app as long as possible, building a rapport with them through a series of tasks and games. The processes are simple and enjoyable, and perhaps even educational. And that's how you increase stickiness. Now let's move on to some Web3 case studies. The first case study is about Reddit's collectible avatars. How many people in here use Reddit? Reddit monetized the rabbit hole, people chewing the fat on a variety of topics. It's the sixth most visited site in the world. Reddit is broken up into more than 1 million communities known as subreddits. Each covers a different topic. Users aim to get karma by posting content or comments that others will upvote. It's similar to a like on Facebook. Each upvote is a karma. Downvotes subtract from accumulated karma. Hence, Reddit is often criticized for being an echo chamber. I created a subreddit called r/slash NFT applications where you can post about the commercialization of NFTs. Reddit users receive an avatar with their account. They can keep it or supply their own. In October 2020, Reddit allowed users to customize their avatars down to every detail: hair, shoes, hats, etc. The avatar builder offers some free customizations and others at a premium, which users must pay for. The avatar builder was a hit and a forerunner to their current NFT launch. In mid July 2022, users with high karma or those who spent a lot of time on Reddit received a free collectible avatar, rewarding them for their patronage. Note that the Reddit did not call them NFTs, but rather collectible avatars, so they could relate to the mainstream user base. Their in-app wallet is referred to as the Vault. More advanced users can export their NFTs and sell them on the OpenSea marketplace. Some of these collectible avatars sold for tens of thousands of dollars, of which Reddit takes a 5% royalty on every resale. The program has been a resounding success. Later, they invited third parties to create collections of collectible avatars based on the infamous snoo icon, which you can see at the lower left. The creators get 95% of the original sale and 5% of the resale royalties. That's also been a success for both the company and the community. I should say they get half of the 5% of the resale royalties. So when they make the avatar, they get 95% from the initial sale, and then when it's sold, there's a 5% royalty, and Reddit takes half, and the creator gets half. And this has been really successful. The key takeaways are Reddit built on an already existing customer engagement program. They did not use the term NFT, but something more relatable to the public: collectible avatar. They made everything easy for the end user while giving them options for more advanced users to export their NFTs out of the app. They created a very profitable revenue model. Reddit collectible avatars are perhaps one of the largest and most successful corporate implementations of NFTs to date, and this is only the beginning. To me, what makes this program brilliant and even revolutionary is that they gave away millions of NFTs for free, but retained the rights to collect the 5% royalty on each transaction. And overnight, it became one of the most successful NFT launches ever. And they did this in the middle of a bear market. It's a departure from the industry practice where NFTs are sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars up front. Lately, that model has been faltering. Even Porsche failed to sell out their NFTs. Now we will discuss Starbucks Odyssey. How many of you went to Starbucks this morning? The Starbucks reward program is perhaps the world's most famous and successful loyalty program. It has over 27 million active users in the USA alone. And the beauty of the rewards program is its simplicity. You get stars or reward points based on how much you spend. You get a free drink after every 150 stars. There are two levels, green and gold. You get to the gold level after you pass 450 stars. And gold members unlock extra perks like earning double stars on certain days, invitations to special events, and a free drink on their birthday. The reward program works through the app where users can make purchases online, walk in, and pick up their orders. Customers can use the stars to purchase items in part or entirely. Using a payment card, customers can buy a virtual gift card, adding to their cash account balance on the app. Interestingly, Starbucks has over $2 billion of float or unspent customer balance at any given time, which they earn interest on. So Starbucks is actually in the top 10 if it was a US bank in terms of how money on the books. Starbucks also has a cult following. Some of their earlier coffee mugs fetch over $1,000 on eBay. Hence, their customer base is ready for something more. On December 8th, 2022, Starbucks Odyssey was released for beta testing to a small group of employees and customers. Here's what's known about the NFT based loyalty program so far. Odyssey is accessible through the existing app. Users participate in journeys, earning both points and stamps. The stamps are NFTs running on the Polygon blockchain. Journey activities include taking a virtual tour of a Starbucks coffee farm, learning Starbucks lore, which is history and trivia, through playing interactive mini games, which I'll show you an example of in the next slide. As stamps are collected, the members' points total will increase. There are three levels of benefits and experiences that members can unlock with their stamps and points. At a lower level, they can get virtual coffee making lessons. They can get access to unique merchandise created in collaboration with outside artists. They also can earn invitations to exclusive events at premium Starbucks locations. At the higher levels, loyal customers can earn trips to Costa Rica to take a tour of the coffee farm they have there. Customers can also purchase limited edition stamps from a dedicated marketplace. A portion of the sale will be donated. The stamps can be kept as collectibles, traded, sold, or redeemed for rewards. On the right, you can see a clean user interface. The user's name, avatar, and points total are at the top, and journeys are what you must do to earn the stamps. The stamps tab is actually the wallet containing your stamp NFTs, and the market is where you can buy and sell or trade your stamps. But this is only in the app and only among other app users or loyalty program members for now. Here you can see what the Odyssey looks like. The theme relates to nature and conservation. The users select from pre-made avatars that relate to the rainforest. The journeys include puzzles that relate to the company's history. The ultimate aim of this is to educate people about the Starbucks brand. This diagram illustrates the customer journey. Customers can either spend time doing the journey to get a stamp, or they can just buy or trade for one in the marketplace. They need to use their payment card for purchases. As far as I know, they cannot use cryptocurrency to buy these stamps. Once they get enough stamps and points, they can redeem them for perks in the in-app store. It's Starbucks simple. The key takeaway is that Starbucks sells coffee, the second most traded commodity in the world. They already did a good job of standing out in a very crowded space. Now they aim to further distinguish themselves by engaging their customers through gamified interactions that are both enjoyable and perhaps as addictive as their coffee. Starbucks Odyssey was built on the world's most successful loyalty program. They are using the Polygon blockchain, which is carbon negative. However, they are avoiding Web3 jargon. Customers do not need an external wallet or cryptocurrency. In fact, they don't even need to know anything about the blockchain whatsoever. They've implemented an altruistic element, donating part of the stamp sales and royalties to conservation causes. One of the criticisms that they've received is that there are no immediate plans to allow the NFTs to be moved outside of their current ecosystem. Hence, it's really just a Web 2 solution for now. One can speculate that they did this as a cautious step to protect their brand, keeping keeping everything in-house until they understand the open market dynamics a little bit better. Polygon has become the blockchain of choice for many mainstream companies. And why is that? In addition to a strong business development team, they offer high reliability, little or no transaction fees, fast processing times, and it's also very developer friendly. Now let's summarize. Today we discussed the four basic types of loyalty programs: points based, tiered, subscription based, and value based. Then we covered Web3 gaming concepts: NFTs representing ownership, off chain versus on chain architecture, staking and decentralized autonomous organizations, which are also known as DAOs. We discussed and showed examples of how loyalty and Web3 gaming can be combined to bring new energy to existing loyalty programs. Here are the key takeaways. The ultimate goal of a loyalty program is to retain the existing customers, which is 5 times cheaper than finding a new one. Web3 and blockchain gaming mechanisms should be built into the loyalty app for seamless experiences. The end users should not require any previous knowledge of Web3 or blockchain, including wallets, cryptocurrency, and exchanges. Options should exist for the more advanced users to export their NFTs and use them as they wish. For example, selling them on a third party marketplace like Magic Eden or transferring them to another person. As we have seen, adding third party gaming concepts to an existing loyalty program will keep customers engaged long after the campaign is over, thereby boosting the stickiness. I would like to thank you for your time today and EPAM for giving me this opportunity. The next 2 slides contain a list of my references and contact details. Now let me answer your questions and let's talk more about how NFTs can energize your loyalty program.
So, thank you, Alexander, for your awesome presentation. And the topic is very interesting, and I really like the examples, especially with that with the Starbucks. And I cannot see any questions so far, but I hope we will get some later. And before we will get some questions from our audience, maybe Daniel, you have something to ask.
Yeah, thanks, Alec. Yeah, I was just looking out for any questions here on the board. So yeah, for anyone, please feel free to just type in the chat there on the live stream, and we'll voice the question to Alec directly. But just yeah, just while we wait, I was just wondering, Alex, about the tradability of NFTs from what you've seen so far available. So, for example, if I earn NFTs buying coffee, and that's I want to kind of then just trade that for something else. Let's say I'm not sort of too interested at this particular moment in the rewards that they offer. So how much tradability are we seeing so far, and in practice, do you think, from being able to say trade my Starbucks points and kind of trading it for, say, a hotel room or air miles or something like this?
Well, as far as we know now, that it's in beta, and so in the Starbucks case in particular, the NFTs cannot be taken out of the app and put on like the open marketplace, where you could theoretically swap your coffee NFT for like an airline miles NFT. But people suspect that's happening, and I saw that Olia here is asking what's the main advantage of implementing the Starbucks loyalty program as an NFT opposed to the classical solution. Right now, there is no advantage because it's in a beta mode and it looks like it's locked inside the app. So it's, I'd hate to use the word, but it's a gimmick for now. But I believe that in the future, they're going to allow it to be exported. And what we have seen in recent news, while I was putting this presentation together, but I didn't get a chance to include it, is eBay and Amazon are getting into the NFT marketplace game. And perhaps Starbucks wants to only put this on certain marketplaces and have a lot of limitations on how you can trade this so it doesn't damage their reputation. I think they're just being conservative with their brand. But the Reddit NFTs you can export and trade away. And actually today they dropped Super Bowl NFTs, one set for the Kansas City Chiefs and one set for the Philadelphia Eagles. So I was able to get those. One I got into my account because I use Reddit a lot, and then the other I went and bought on OpenSea.
That's great. Does that
Okay.
if I trade my token away, does that affect? Do you think that affects retention? Because I guess if a brand tries to retain their existing customers through loyalty, does it make a difference if I then say, oh, I'm going to sell my NFT now to someone else? Because then,
Well,
because then the data, they're not. I guess they're not collecting things on myself, for example.
Well, it can be kind of like a treasure hunt or trading, right? Like you earn one kind of NFT because you buy pumpkin lattes, and someone else gets a different kind of NFT because they order mocha lattes, and maybe you like their NFT better, and it creates this economy where you can trade them. Or maybe your NFT can be used for virtual coffee making lessons, and theirs is to get a T-shirt. They can burn the NFT, or redeem it to get some physical merchandise, but you want the T-shirt. And so I think it kind of keeps people in it's like a game in itself. And I saw one venture capitalist say that fun is a utility, and we're spending more and more time on screen, and people can't see the watch you're wearing or the bag you have, so your NFTs can be used as bling or used as flex, as one would say. So you could probably flex your NFTs, your Starbucks NFTs that you drank 500 pumpkin lattes last year, and you get some special NFT, and you can sell that, or you can trade that for someone who's got some airline NFT, and it becomes like collectibles, just like baseball trading cards or like anything else. It becomes like this kind of like McDonald Happy Meal toys, for instance. It becomes a virtualization of those kind of things. Uh,
Sure.
and someone had asked about NFTs being applied to social networking. I think that's what Reddit is doing right now. They're rewarding people who spend a lot of time on the app, and then you can have this tradability, and it kind of spreads their brand out and creates more interest because people want to always feel like they're getting a free thing, but there's some kind of fun, again, to take this NFT out of the app, put it on the marketplace. There's some mystery factor how much you can get for it. So I think it's like a digitalization of this fun aspect, right?
Yeah, sure, it makes sense. So I think the sort of social network loyalty and value and kind of upticking comments that you like and this kind of thing has got great potential as well, personally.
Yeah. I'm quite excited about it. I mean, I actually personally I like the NFTs a lot, and I kind of like to see it being integrated with the loyalty. And there's also these loyalty programs that are like combining several restaurants together. We have it here in Ukraine. You go to like this system and and you collect points from like the coffee shop, the chocolate shop, the restaurant, and then you can redeem these points at another location. And maybe this would also be a profit model that instead of redeeming these points for some food or for some coffee, I can redeem it for an NFT, which is cheaper to make. And then running that ecosystem is a lot cheaper than creating physical products that you have to give back. So it actually could be a margin enhancement for the loyalty program as well.
Mhm.
I'm getting a question here. How is the value of an NFT defined in the marketplace? It is open market dynamics, like with the Reddit NFTs. Some of those NFTs are fetching like 30 grand, and probably rarity is one of the big ones, and provenance is a second big factor. So uh, in the Reddit case, the ones with the low number, like if you get the first of a series, like they had 200,000 Argentina World Cup NFTs, and if you had the first one, that one gets a lot of money. So if you have the first of a series, so it is like, just to make it short, how is the value defined? Usually it's the rarity, perhaps the utility, and in gaming, if that NFT is storing value, like a level, like if you're a level 60 on this Infungibles game I showed you, that can get 2 or 3 Solana versus the entry level ones, which is just 0.1 Solana, because that 60 level represents like playing for a year, and you're more likely to win like some big prize payouts. Does that answer your question, Mr. Doss?
I hope so.
Yeah, I guess the bragging rights is kind of a cool thing as well, right? Like with going back a few years, I remember um, collecting kind of baseball cards, that kind of concept. It's almost like that perceived value of coolness, and I guess that's what can often drive that is what's driving a lot of these high value NFTs at the moment, as we see, I should think.
The NFTs that go for like millions of dollars, they're already made by famous artists like Francis Bacon, and I've seen some of these that who's this guy that made that painting that shredded itself at Sotheby's? I think Banksy, right? And I think he might have put something out there. I know Sotheby's and the other one, the other auction house, I can't remember off the top of my head, but a lot of that is provenance, right? That you're getting to own a digital version of this person's artwork. So I believe that's probably one of the big factors, but mostly it's fun, I think. I think it's fun. We spend a lot of time on screen, and now you can, play with this stuff.
Yeah, and I guess that makes me think a little bit about the kind of the particular market segmentation or group of or type of people that this kind of NFT and gamification is popular with. Do you see? I mean, do you see that being? Is this a young person's game at the moment? Do you believe, or is it just about designing good programs that can appeal to lots of different sort of market segmentation and different groups of people, or is it just the 20 somethings that are going for the NFTs?
Well, I can tell you, I'm over 50 and I like it. So, but I imagine that they have this personas, right? They define these personas, and I think there is like a Gen Z appeal, but fun is fun no matter what the age. But what I like is, I guess, that the is just some of these NFTs are very artistic and very colorful, but you can use them in a game setting, and there is this like addiction that you can get to this next level, you can climb and get these points. I think that applies to anybody. I know when I was collecting the NFL cards and the baseball cards when I was young, and you really want to keep buying packs and packs until you can get that rare one, or you go and trade with your friends, and you trade away 5 for 1 or something. So there is that side of a human being, I think, that's just wants to have this mystery, or this bartering, and this chance that there's this chance that you're going to really get this rare one, this lottery thing going on. So I think there's some of that involved.
Probably appeals to all of us deep down, doesn't it? Yeah,
Yes.
whether we think it does or not. And actually, just looking at one of your slides earlier on, there's a fair few types of gamification that I saw on one of your slides. So you mentioned things like trivia, puzzles, quests, and strategies. So it's not just about the sort of action and graphics and kind of those sorts of games that are available for this type of gamification. So yeah, certainly the trivia and puzzles would probably um, appeal to myself in particular, but
Yeah,
good
because I
variety
aim to
there.
educate you about the brand. Like in Starbucks' case, after oil, coffee is the second biggest traded commodity in the world, and it's quite hard to stand out with coffee. But Starbucks somehow did it. They want to educate people about the brand, showing their altruistic sides, showing their history, and create some loyalty this way. And it has already worked in the pre-Web3 world. They get people to buy the coffee mugs for $1,000, and the coffee mugs, of course, take production, transportation, but the NFTs can be done. So I think there's a business case here because people have this loyalty and they want a collectible or something. And if it's rare and it's on the blockchain that's verified that there's only 1,000 of these, it will create, even though you can right click and save, but people actually still want to own it. That's been shown. You can right click and save like a Bored Ape or a CryptoPunk, but there's still something about really owning it. And then Twitter and some of these other social medias are tying it up to verify that you are the owner, and then you can get a special badge by your name. So I think this will be coming too. These concepts will be applied to these loyalty programs as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, we got one more from Gergely. Do you see that one, Alex?
Yes, I can say this. It's all over the place, but there's like we're talking to one company in Colombia, South America, and they're saying there's a loyalty program for a chain of gas stations, and they're saying only 20% of their customers use it. So a lot of times that is problem a problem with the loyalty programs is that if they're not getting enough use, people are really not loyal to the brand, or the loyalty program has to do heavy discounting. So then the people aren't loyal to the brand, they're loyal to the discounts. Uh, this has to be surveyed, I think, for the market and for the use case. There's no real general statistic, but it's not an easy game. I can tell you that loyalty programs are not automatic, and most companies opt for this Domino's pizza model that I discovered, where you just get some points, and then if you save up these points, you get a discount, or you can get a free pizza. But I think the NFTs will add another. It'll help the loyalty programs stand out who use them, and maybe get this Gen Z appeal, or get it with IT guys like ourselves. Appeal to us. You know.
We've just got one more comment there. Yeah, connecting the NFT with the rewards is a game changer. Everyone loves to get rewards, and somehow they feel that's the value of their effort and loyalty. Yeah, and I guess that's the case with loyalty programs in general, isn't it? With regardless of whether the rewards are an NFT or just traditional points or cards.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Hang on. There's one more here. Um,
Yeah, I'm saying that one as
yeah.
the last
Oh,
question
okay.
that we have there, Alex. Yeah.
Yeah, so think about, as an employee, you do not have value of work or experience, but of all the corporate apply NFT based loyalty program. Where can we go? So you're saying you can store all your work in an NFT and and then sell it off, and then someone. I think that experience won't transfer. You still really have to do your NGEX course at EPAM. You can't sell that off. You can't tokenize that and sell it to someone else. As nice as that would be, uh, but I think companies could have some sort of NFT thing to gamify something. I'd have to sit and have a think on that, how to put that into a company context. Like maybe you suggest some ideas, or you go to a certain amount of events, or you do a certain amount of Jira tickets, and you can get some NFT from this. But I think in retail loyalty, this is a fantastic offering to to boost up existing loyalty programs, to give them some extra value added.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not seeing any more, Alec. Yeah.
Yes, I think that was the last question. And so, if there will be some more questions, I will send them over to Alexander. Just, I mean, if you are watching this in a recorded format, recording. And thank you so much for answering all that questions. And Alex, thank you so much for your great presentation. It was a pleasure to have you with us. And I think that this is the time to conclude our today's webinar. And thank you all for attending. And we hope you learned and enjoyed this presentation too. And hope to see you again in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for
Bye
having
bye.
me. It was really great to be here. So thank you.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks.
Yep, thank you.
So.